Hello and welcome back to Bloodborne. This is part 10 of our Beast Cutter run. Now if you don't remember, last time we got Simon's Bowblade, we got the Blood Letter, and we got Cause Parasite, which as you can probably tell, we finished out the DLC, and we can't use those weapons because single weapon class run, but we have them. We also got 2 Blood Rocks so we can fully upgrade our Lost and Uncanny Beast Cutters. And since we beat Maria for a total of 14 insight, we can purchase her armor set. And just like how I'm doing a single weapon each run, I'm doing a single armor set each run, so as much as I love Berater's set, can't use them, have to sell them, though Maria's set sells for a lot, which is part of why I purchased it. And the DLC weapons also go for a decent chunk of change, so very happy with that. And before we get started on what we're gonna do this part, we have a few just cold bloods we can pop. And since we beat Maria, we're supposed to get a special
Gehrman awaits
piece of
you
dialogue here.
at the foot of the great tree. Go on, good hunter.
But it was sadly overruled by Gehrman sitting at a tree for some reason. So that's very
Good
sad.
hunter, very well.
So if you want that Maria dialogue, you might want to go take her out before Gehrman becomes available as a boss. If you don't have the game, or if you don't feel like doing that, don't worry. I will have you covered on the Saw Cleaver run. I believe I've done it already with the Threaded Cane run as well, but not 100% sure. But here, there are 3 umbilical cords in our inventory that we have picked up through the run, and you need to consume all 3 before defeating Gehrman in order to get a certain ending and another boss. So we did that, and now we can talk to Gehrman.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
I am wearing a butcher set, and I said I'm gonna kill all the bosses. That means all the bosses. So, sorry, but have to refuse, friend.
Dear, oh dear, what was it? The hunt, the blood, or the horrible dream? Oh, it doesn't matter. It always comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes. Tonight, Gehrman joins the hunt.
And just like with the Orphan of Kaz the last time, you can probably tell that I don't have a whole lot of experience with this boss just by how hesitant I was to even approach them. Which, unlike Kaz and it just being a long time since I've actually played the game, Gehrman is more about... Ow! But Gehrman is more about... I don't typically go for these endings. I did not think I got that, but okay. That, that was a little too generous of the game. And that was a lucky stun. But, alright. But yeah, my favorite ending is the one where you wake up in the morning and that requires submitting your life and not fighting Gehrman. And so, because that's my favorite ending, I don't have a lot of experience fighting Gehrman. So, I'm not entirely sure what he's doing half the time, honestly. And I don't know what, but I figured this was probably bad for me, so I backed up just in time, which was very, very lucky. And while the game was generous enough with the last parry, it figured I probably didn't need it this time. And I knew what that one was. But the game was correct that I didn't need that parry, but I earned this one. And we'll take what we can earn. And ow. I kind of thought Gehrman would do more damage, honestly. But I say as he takes over half our health. But he's very fast. And so, hey, doing that again. Nope, you can die. And so, not a lot of damage, but very fast. That evens itself out. And we got a badge and another cutscene. And that version of the cutscene where you come to fight the Moon Presence is because we consume those three umbilical cords. And as weird as it may sound, I actually have more experience fighting the Moon Presence than Gehrman. Don't ask how that works, considering the Moon Presence comes after Gehrman, but somehow I have more experience, and I actually know what Moon Presence is doing more, and I know how to better counteract it. It also helps that they're a way easier fight. That's also part of it. So, with that said, the nightmare has been slain, 230,000 blood echoes, and another cutscene.
Are you cold? Oh, good hunter.
And one, that lingering shot is one of my favorites in all of Bloodborne. Good. And two, we're not done yet. Because I said every boss, and that means every boss. And while we have killed every boss this run, we haven't done all of them with the Beast Cutter. So, there's 3 bosses that we beat before getting our hands on the Beast Cutter. And those 3 are in our line of sight now. Yep. It's this single Scourge Beast. That's the 3 bosses. Alright, I'll see you next run. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like this whole thing of me running through, going through the full areas, or if I just wanted to show the boss fights. And I decided on this partially because if I just did the boss fights, then this part would be like 15 minutes at most, probably less. But also partially because, hello friend, by the way, screaming off in the distance. But also partially because the first half of a Souls game is very different depending on if you're playing it in New Game or New Game Plus. And I don't play New Game Plus very often. Especially not in these weapon run videos. So I figured since I'm going through part of New Game Plus now, and because this part is already so short, might as well show it just so you can see how different New Game Plus is. And a large part of that honestly comes down to the stamina bar, which might sound weird, but the stamina bar makes a world of difference, because a large part of what makes the Souls games difficult that I haven't really heard anyone talk about is stamina management, because you have a limited stamina bar and it is your lifeline. It's how you shield, it's how you attack, it's how you dodge. Everything regarding avoiding damage and dishing out damage outside of movement requires stamina. And consumable items, but we don't talk about those. And in New Game, you have a very limited stamina bar, whereas in New Game Plus, you have a very large stamina bar. And that difference is most notable in the first half of the game, since the first half of the game in New Game is when you have no stamina. Whereas by the end of New Game, you probably have a decent stamina bar. So, the difference is most notable in the beginning between New Game and New Game Plus. And, like I said, that's why the first half of the game in New Game Plus feels so different, and why you can just seemingly steamroll through everything. It's not really damage, because we're 1 to 2 shotting things, which is better than the 2 to 3 shotting we were doing before, like in New Game, but that's only a difference of 1 to 2 swings. It really is the stamina, because now we can do a whole lot more running and we can do a whole lot more swinging. And I say that New Game Plus is a lot easier while I'm getting kind of destroyed by Cleric Beast, but that's just because I came in with a lot of arrogance, and arrogance is a great way to die in these games. And it would have been very embarrassing for me to first try Lawrence and then die to this guy. That would have been really sad. But getting kind of clowned on by Cleric Beast kind of reminded me that, oh yeah, I need to be careful. Things can kill me even this early on in the game. And I came back to kill the troll because I had 12 blood vials. And I figured, if the Cleric Beast is going to take 8 blood vials, and Gascoigne is significantly more difficult, I better get my blood vials up, because it's not gonna be great if I die to Gascoigne because I came in with like 10 blood vials. Now, we can ignore them. But as you can see, like, I still two-shot the dog. These things still four-shot. So it's not like I'm going around one-shotting everything. Because the dogs are very fast, but have very little health. They're a lot like glass cannons. And these guys, it's normal to two-shot them. And I two-shot them. Two-shotting in new game. So, it's not like I'm doing more damage. As you saw in the Cleric Beast fight, I put on a fire paper and my damage was still kind of underwhelming. To the point where the fire paper ran out before they died. And I could have gotten the music box, I decided not to because, once again, arrogance. We will see how that turns out. But yeah, like I said, it's not like I have incredible damage. The main difference is the stamina bar. Because you can just do a whole lot more running, and you can do a whole lot more swinging. Like for the werewolf guys in the sewers. In new game, you can kill them in like around 6 hits, I believe. And you don't really have that many swings, and so you really have to play with your stamina bar. You really have to manage it super hard. But in New Game Plus, you just don't need to do that, because your stamina bar is... It's enough to just swing and swing and swing and swing and swing and swing. And you don't need to worry about anything. I have no idea where that attack went, considering I was locked on, but alright. We got the parry off. They're going into phase 2. We can abuse this.
The sweet blood. Oh, it sings to me. It's enough to make a man sick.
I just want to point out, they did not get a single melee attack off in all of phase 2. All they could do is just shoot at me. Because something about phase 2 is he really wants to put his axe into the two-handed form, but you can just keep stunning him out of that. And you may have noticed that phase, or nothing but phases, but Gascoigne was way easier than Cleric Beast. Even though, for most people, he's way harder. And that's partially because I have an infinite amount of experience fighting him, especially helping others fight him in co-op. But also partially because Cleric Beast beat the arrogance out of me. And I came into Cleric Beast with no respect. And I was punished severely for it. And so I went into Gascoigne with respect. And I was rewarded for it. So stay humble. It doesn't matter what new game cycle you're in. You can die. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. You can die. But we came here to get the Chief Hunter emblem. And because we killed the Gehrman, we can now get a set, which doesn't have any gloves. But the garb looks very nice. And also because we killed him, I went the wrong way on this, but you can also get his weapon, the Burial Blade, which is a curved sword that turns into a scythe, which is pretty cool. But having gotten the Chief Hunter emblem, we can now warp back to Cathedral Ward. And another thing about New Game Plus that makes it feel so different is because enemies give way more of whatever the game's currency is, you don't need to fight nearly as many enemies. Like, getting the Chief Hunter emblem in new game, that's a serious cost, because I believe Cleric Beast gives like 4,000 souls, and Gascoigne gives like 3,200, something like that. And so both bosses combined, you don't get 10,000, which is what's required. That enemy is very weak to parries, by the way, and if you have a long-ranged weapon, you can hit these enemies through the wall. But as you can see, I got like 5,000 blood echoes from this one tiny section. Like, that one guy by himself dropped 1,000. 2 basic enemies gave 2k. And so, dropping 10,000 blood echoes for the Hunter emblem, not only is it not a major cost, it's basically nothing. It is pocket change. And that's another major difference between the feeling of New Game and New Game Plus, is the cost of everything is just nothing in New Game Plus. But continuing on, we opened this one up because just in case we die, like I said, Cleric Beast beat the arrogance out of me, at least for now. And so just in case we die to Amelia, we have that, and a Numbing Mist. Normally I don't pick up or equip Numbing Mist, because why would I? There's no need. That's a silly assumption. But Amelia does have a self-heal, so I put it on for that. And I healed just to get back up to full, to grab those blood vials to get back up to 20. So as you can see, the arrogance was really beat out of me here. So, guess we better thank Cleric Beast for that. I'm sure by the time I start the next run, it'll be back in full swing. But heading in, skipping the boss fight, popping fire paper, because I thought we had to get further into the boss fight to actually, or further into the boss room to start the fight. But went back, heal, because New Game Plus hurts a lot. But I was kind of surprised by how fast we got that stun, or that visceral. I was also surprised by how little damage it did. Like, look at her health bar. That's a visceral attack. That did nothing. That's so little damage. And here, for some reason, she did 3 sidesteps back to back to back, and then got stunned, and then did a very easily avoidable attack, and then got stunned again. And here I thought she was going to do the self-heal, but she instead roared. And so that was extremely good RNG on our part. Very happy about that. But with that being said, that is every single boss in Bloodborne beaten with the Beast Cutter. And I came into this run assuming the weapon would be good, and it still went above expectations. Not by a whole lot, but it still did very good. Like, especially the alternate form. Like, the light attacks, some of them could miss because of how it is angled, but the heavy attacks went way above and beyond. Like, it bullied people, especially hunters. And, like, the heavy attack could stun lock winter lanterns. That was really, really good. The light attacks, a tiny bit slow, but they hit hard, and Like I said, a very, very good weapon. My only possible complaint is that the rally potential is very low. Like, I get more health back from the saw cleaver, and I mean significantly more health back. So that's the only possible complaint, but still very good weapon. It definitely more than pulled its weight, and yeah.